Hello beautiful people, it is editor Kathleen here, and I'm just letting you guys know that this video is a compilation of my reactions to opening up my admissions decisions from US schools. All of them except one, which I will update you guys on later. So those schools are Georgia Tech, Duke University, Columbia University, University of Pennsylvania, and Yale University. Okay, here we go. Hope you enjoy. Today it is March 13th, 3:55 p.m., and my first US decision comes out. This is for Georgia Tech. This was bound to happen with at least one school. Kathleen, we are honored that you chose to apply to Georgia Institute of Technology. In our holistic admissions process, all applications are reviewed by multiple staff members. This year, we received a large number of applications from highly qualified students. Due to the competitiveness of this year's applicant pool and the size of our incoming class, we are unable to offer you admission for fall 2021. However, we are pleased to offer you the option of the Arts and Sciences Pathway Program for fall 2022 as a transfer student. The Arts and Sciences Pathway Program provides you an opportunity to transfer to Georgia Tech and pursue a major within the School of Design, Liberal Arts, or College of Sciences. This program is for admission during the fall 2022 term only. We hope you will consider this opportunity and apply to become a Yellow Jacket through the Arts and Sciences Pathway Program. Sincerely, Rick Clark, Director of Undergraduate Admission. Well, I suppose this doesn't bode well for the Ivies. Hello, beautiful people. It is currently April 5th, 6:54 p.m., and my Duke decision is about to come out at 7. Although before I got that decision, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I decided to apply to Duke. So I had this mentor. Ever since I was 8 years old, I was working in my parents' office, and he walked in, and he was just like, this is a bright young child. I will talk politics with her. And that's what he did. And we did that for years until I was 18 years old, and in 2019 he died. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that that would be his dying wish, but it was his dying wish that I would apply to Duke. So I did. I applied for the political economy program, and as he put it, he wanted me to apply there because they took him in when he didn't even have 2 nickels in his pocket to rub together. So he said, I think that this will be a great environment for you, and I think you should apply there. So I have applied. I have 5 more minutes until my decision comes out. I'm nervous, but luckily I'm not in this alone. I have a cousin who applied to Duke, and my friend who's also on a gap year in Spain. He applied to Duke. Now we wait. 15 seconds. Oh, I did the wrong password. New updates to your application posted? Dear Kathleen, after careful review of your application, the admissions committee has placed you on our waiting list for admissions this fall. I know this is not the news you were hoping for, but please read on for an explanation of our waiting list process. We received almost 50,000 applications this year for just 1,700 places in the first-year class. Unfortunately, the sheer volume of applications meant that we could admit only a small percentage of the many outstanding students who we knew were fully prepared to contribute meaningfully to our classrooms and community. We are fortunate to receive so many applications with such highly qualified students, but it meant not admitting very accomplished individuals who had much to offer the university and their classmates. I hope you may take some comfort in knowing that there had to be some particularly appealing aspects of your application for you to be placed on our waiting list. My staff and I were struck by your academic and personality qualities, and we appreciate your many years of balancing a challenging workload with your many other commitments. It was exceptionally difficult choosing among the so many well-qualified applicants. We wish we had room for all of you. Unfortunately, I cannot give you a firm idea of your chances for eventual admission to Duke. We begin considering students on the waitlist after the applicants to whom we have offered admissions have responded to our offer. We usually know by the middle of May approximately how many students we will be able to admit from the waiting list. In the past years, 40 to 50 spaces in the class have typically become available. If your interest in Duke remains strong, please let us know by clicking this Respond Offer link, and we will maintain the active status of your application. If you decline this offer, please respond online so our records will be accurate. Students sometimes ask what they can do to help their chances. From the waiting list, the best source of information is the Frequently Asked Questions document. We expect to conclude all waiting list activities by the end of July. If we are not able to offer you admission, we will let you know by then. That's a long time. I realize that you will likely need to choose another institution while you remain on our waiting list. I regret that this is the case, and I hope you understand how the timing of this process makes that unavoidable. I expect that with your many strong qualifications, you already have a number of appealing colleges to choose from. You have my best wishes for success, whether at Duke or elsewhere. I appreciate your patience, and thank you for applying to Duke. Christoph Gutentag, Dean of Undergraduate Admissions. I can already say that this is markedly better than last year when I was just flat out rejected. So this is progress. This is progress. Tomorrow, it is currently April 5th. Tomorrow is April 6th, which is Ivy Day, which is when I will hear back from Yale, University of Pennsylvania, and Columbia. So wish me luck. Although for you guys, that's just right now. Hello, beautiful people. It is currently April 6th, 2021 at 6:53 p.m. on Ivy Day. I hear back from Yale, University of Pennsylvania, or UPenn, and Columbia today. Ivy Day is already off to a markedly better start than it was last year when I applied to the same 3 schools. We have 5 minutes until the decisions come out, so I thought maybe I would give a little bit of reasoning as to why I applied to each school. The first one I'll give is Yale. So I decided to apply to Yale because they have this really cool program called Ethics, Politics, and Economics, which is exactly what I want to study. Because I think the most interesting part of philosophy at this point in time for me is ethics. I love politics because I love understanding how power is distributed, and I love economics, especially after the hurricane. It helped me a lot to try and understand how scarce resources are allocated, as scarcity is one of the foundational ideas in economics. The second reason I wanted to go and apply to Yale is because one of my role models, Miss Stacey Abrams, went to Yale, and she spoke so highly of it in her first memoir that I was like, well, I gotta try. And the third reason is because they have this wonderful award-winning debate team that I hope to join as a fellow debater. Woo. In my last video, I actually filmed in a different place, and I have my debate best speaker trophy in the background. I'll link that video in the iCard. It's Books for the Nerd in Your Life. The next school I'm going to talk about is UPenn. I actually applied to this one because my friend Stacy thought it would be a good fit for me, and I was like, okay. And then the more research that I did into the school, the more I'm like, this is a really good fit. Because Pennsylvania is the cradle of American democracy. It is where the Declaration of Independence was signed, and the more I learn about the school and how dedicated it is to interdisciplinary study, the more I'm like, that's a yes. They also have philosophy, politics, and economics. From what I understand, that's pretty rare at US schools. In searching for schools with that degree, I only found 2, UPenn and Denison. So I thought that it was really interesting that they provided that as an option here as well. The third school is Columbia, and from the day that I learned what the term dream school meant, I knew that mine was Columbia. I'm very much drawn to it. I love the city of New York. Walking around the campus is fully magic. I love how it integrates things that are old with things that are new. When I was visiting in 2020? It was 2020, right before the pandemic hit, right before, like a month before, I was visiting the campus. And I realized that they had this really, really old building, this massive library. And on the top level of the library, they had the names of these great thinkers, old Greek thinkers. And then more recently, they included a lot of newer thinkers like Maya Angelou. And that to me was really inspiring that they would include both of those things. I also very much appreciate that it is the alma mater of President Obama, whose book I just finished. I found that to be very, very interesting, and the lessons and takeaways that he took from going to Columbia. So I was like, let me shoot for it. I am very excited. It is now currently 6:58, which means we have 1 minute and 15 seconds. I am nervous. But I wanted to say this before I got any decisions, especially for anybody who is watching, whether you're happy or you're sad, because I know that's when I would watch these videos. All I can ask of myself is my best, and that is what I am giving. Whew. 20 seconds. Oh, yes, let me tell you the order of operations here. We'll be going Yale University, University of Pennsylvania, then Columbia. Last year I got waitlisted for Columbia. I got an interview for UPenn, but still did not get in. Although I did get a very interesting rejection letter, and Yale was just a flat-out rejection. 7 p.m. Here we go. View update. Dear Kathleen, the Yale Admissions Committee has completed its evaluation of this year's candidates, and I am genuinely sorry that we are not able to offer you a place. In the class of 2025, I realize that this decision may come as a real disappointment. I hope you will understand that the decision reflects the extraordinary range of talents represented in our applicant pool, and not a judgment about your own abilities or potential. Of the more than 46,000 individuals who applied to Yale this year, most are fully capable of doing outstanding work and making a unique contribution to a campus community. It is painful to us that we must turn away so many superbly talented students. You may be tempted to ask what was lacking in your application. In truth, it is usually difficult for us to point to obvious weaknesses when so many applications have demonstrated real achievement and potential for the future. Our decisions say far more about the small number of spaces available and the difficult choices we make than they do about a candidate's personal and academic promise. I recognize that it may be especially challenging to finalize your college search process without the opportunity to visit campuses this spring. I encourage you to look closely at the excellent options you have before you and to select a school whose community you are excited to join. I hope that the replies you receive from other colleges will soon erase any disappointment regarding Yale's decision, and that you will go on to great success in your educational pursuits. Sincerely, Jeremiah Quinn Lon, Dean of Undergraduate Admissions and Financial Aid. Status update. View update. Dear Kathleen, the Selections Committee has completed its deliberations, and it is with genuine regret that I inform you that we are not offering you admission to University of Pennsylvania. Ooh. My colleagues and I are humbled by your interest in Penn, and we acknowledge the time and effort you put into the college search and application process. As you move forward with the other opportunities that await you, take your next steps with confidence. The accomplishments that you shared with us through your application paint a clear picture of the great things ahead of you. You have our best wishes. Sincerely, John T. McLaughlin, Interim Dean of Admissions. View updates to your application. Dear Kathleen, the Committee on Admissions has carefully reviewed your application, and we are sorry to inform you that we cannot offer you a place in Columbia's class of 2025. This year, more than 60,000 candidates applied for places in the first-year class, making this the most difficult selection process in our history. The many strengths of the entire applicant pool, as demonstrated by scholastic successes achieved, community service performed, activities pursued, essays written, and books read, made the selection process more competitive than simple numbers could possibly indicate, which sadly compels us to disappoint many gifted students. We want you to know that this decision in no way reflects a lack of confidence in your abilities to achieve success in your college plans and beyond. Our experience is that the vast majority of students who do not gain admission here go on to distinguish themselves at fine colleges and universities throughout the world, and we are confident that you will do so as well. We must make clear, however, that since our decisions are made after many months of careful deliberation, The Committee on Admissions cannot consider any review of this decision. We appreciate your interest in Columbia and wish you the best in your pursuit of higher education. Sincerely, Jessica Marinaccio, Dean of Undergraduate Admissions and Financial Aid. So, those are the 3 schools. I put my best foot forward. I tried my best. I tried to be the most qualified candidate that I could be. And unfortunately, I did not get into any of these schools. But you guys are here to come on this education journey with me. And as I said in my Oxford rejection video, yes, if you're new here, that happened too. As I said in my Oxford rejection video, it is an indication that that's not where I'm meant to be. And all you can really give is your best. I packaged myself as best I could. I got the best grades that I could. Mitigating circumstances forms, you name it, I did everything that I could in my power to try and get into these schools. But it just so happened that this year, it was not going to happen. Hello, beautiful people. It is April 7th, Wednesday, the day after Ivy Day. And I took the results pretty hard last night. Pretty hard. So my cousins took me out salsa dancing, and it was a lot of fun, and it was exactly what I needed. But today, I am disappointed. I am very sad, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that when you shoot for the stars, you run the risk of this happening. I threw my application into the ring, and I threw it into the ring with the world's best candidates. And how I think about it is, our applications are almost like gladiators, and then they put all of them into the ring, and you fight it out to the death. And that is the person that gets in. And there were a lot of candidates. Duke had 50,000 applicants for 1,700 spots. That is a 3% acceptance rate. That's a lot of people who are not going to get in. That's one of the realities of applying to top universities in 2021. The conventional wisdom that I heard basically my whole life for applying to these types of schools was that you needed 3 things: a sport, an instrument, and good grades. I am a straight A student. I am a varsity track athlete. I was a varsity track athlete. And I have been playing the guitar for 12 years. I had the 3 things. And I suspect like a lot of the people who will be watching this video, I made sacrifices for those things. My parents told me from a very young age that their job was to love me unconditionally, to clothe me, to feed me, to put a roof over my head, and to send me to school. And it was my job to do school. B's were not acceptable. I had to bring home A's because they knew that I could do better. And I made sacrifices for those grades. I, like a lot of you, didn't do house parties. I didn't do relationships. I didn't do concerts because I did school and extracurriculars. So this result is a bit, more than a bit, disappointing. And I'm sad. Like a lot of you who are watching this video are also probably sad, because I remember that when I was applying last year, I watched a lot of these videos where people got in. So one of the things that I love about this channel is that I am sharing my educational journey with you honestly. This is an honest reflection of applying to top universities in 2021, unfortunately. And my biggest takeaway from it is uncertainty. Uncertainty is part of life. You don't always know why you didn't get the job, why you didn't get into the university, what it was about your application that didn't quite make the cut. But you can try your best. And that's what I did. I tried my best with the best resources available to me. And this was the result. But through this process, and it's one of the things that I love about the American admissions process, it is holistic review. You are called to reflect on yourself. You are called to learn the power in your story. You're called to understand how to package yourself, and I understand myself a lot better now. I've learned a lot through this process, and it just so happened that it did not end the way that I would have liked it to. Also, one last thing. So I applied to US schools and UK schools, but I'm waiting to hear back from one UK school before I put out that video with all the reactions, kind of like how I did it with all the reactions for the US schools. The only difference is that in the UK system, you hear throughout the year the results. And I wanted to add one last thing. I do not have any regrets having done this process. I did it to the best of my ability. I really tried my best. From this process, I've learned a lot. And I think most importantly, you learn from failure. When you meet a challenge, it is room for growth. And I think I've grown a lot in this process. So if this video really resonated with you, please consider buying me a coffee. It's like a digital tip jar for online creators. And I will see you back next time. Bye.